Hello everyone. So this is the second lesson on the OT bootcamp. Okay. And I'm gonna show you how OTE got me this rolly. Okay. Nah, I'm playing game. Let's go through this though. So this is the secret of OTE, and it's kind of a different kind of video. It's for people who are advanced and people who aren't at the same time. It's really simple as well. So first, I want you to imagine how the chart tends to play out on a day, right? And I'm gonna numb it down really simple. Do you know when we're in an uptrend or when we're in a bearish trend, right? So we're making those highs and we're making those lows. It's really simple, right? Now the reason why OTE is one of the one strategies that's proven to give you less setups but a higher win rate and a higher RR is because we numb down those entries by using OTE, right? Where we want price to go, and if it goes to there, then we're gonna have minimal drawdown. So let me just really numb this down. So in an ideal world, this is what the chart will look like. Obviously, it doesn't look like this. We're gonna have to use discretion. We're gonna have to get better with the trading model. We're gonna have to, trade a lot longer than this to just see the price like this every day. But this is a casual uptrend, right? What do we see? Let's just draw out the fib, right? Each one of these represents a high and a low made in the market, okay? The majority of the time, price isn't retracing all the way down into the 705 to the 79, right? As you can see, right, this is really how it does look. Most of the time, price does not want to retrace all the way down. Okay? I'm getting cold right now. But that's why we use OTE. So what OTE does is it gives us that entry for times when price does want to go down. And on those minimal times where price does go and retrace to the OTE and not just the discount, then we get a higher RR. Higher RR means higher risk to reward, right? And higher ROI in the long run if we can wait for those setups. There's two ways to trade continuation uptrends, right? There's either this, you genuinely just long and cover the whole stop, right? But then if you're risking 1-to-1, you're basically not gambling, but like your win rate is going to be maybe a little bit higher, right? However, you're also going to have a much lower like ROI. I mean, you're using a 1-to-1 and you're basically just praying that price is going to go up to the draw without sweeping any inducement. Well, with OTE, you're minimizing your losses, but you're also maximizing the potential of that trade. So let's look at this. You're looking for that draw. That draw is the most important. That's what's going to define every single OTE trade you take. OTE without a draw is just gambling, right? And that's the biggest thing ever. Let me write that down. OTE without a draw is gambling. Because the way we see OTE is this. Let me just really draw this out. So we're going to have a draw, like this draw you see. This could be any kind of draw, an MWOG, all-time highs, whatever, you name it. We have price, and price is what price is going to want to do, if I can just get this for you. It's going to want to tap into some kind of PDA. This is the PDA, right? And then we're going to have that push to the draw. Understand? Okay? Now, what we're trying to catch, unless the PDA is already aligned within that, is we're trying to minimize our losses and maximize our RR by finding the OT entry from that. Okay? So look at this. Let's say this is a 1 hour FVG. Price is tapped into this and rejected. The place we're going to look for that entry is going to be here, right? We're expecting, yes, price is not always going to want to go down to this, but this is how we max it. This is why my win rate is so high, because you've got to look for those A+. You've got to be patient. If price doesn't want it and price wants to just react from the 2.5 and go to that draw, it does that. Right? But if you want to have a higher, like a more conviction, higher RR, higher win rate, right? Then this is why you've got to be patient. Now we want to get this. And that 6.2 to 7.05 to 7.9 is just what I explained in every single other video, is discretion, right? Which one are we going to enter off? Okay, now depending on market volatility, you enter the 10 to 30 point stop. At the moment, it's 20 for me, okay? And those 6.2 to 7.05 to 7.9 are going to be aligned with PDAs. So let's say we go deeper inside of this range right here. What we're going to look for is the 6.2, the 7.05, or the 7.9 aligned with a lower time frame PDA, like 15 to 5. In an ideal world, that would be really clean. And this honestly does play a lot, right? Tapping a 1 hour fair value gap, pumping from that, creating that range low to high. We've had our mitigation. This low is protected. And if it gets swept, then we don't expect price to continue going to this draw. Usually we have inducement as well around here. That's just liquidity we've swept out into that level. We pump, and you want to enter off one of these levels aligned with something, a 15 to a 5 minute PD ray, okay? And that PD ray can be anything from an OB to a fair value gap to a inverse fair value gap to a wick, right? The majority is important. And then I'm going to teach you in my other lessons to really numb down and find out which OT level is going to play by using time frame alignment, right? Let's say we have a 5 minute fair value gap aligned with a 15 minute, but then on the 6-2 we have a 1 hour, right? Higher time frame holds higher power, but you also don't want to be stupid and just take every single level. So you always want to find that one level that if it gets swept, you know, all right, price isn't going to play from there. All right, because if you manage to just keep entering at the highest one and get stopped out, and then finally the 7-9 plays, you've already lost 2 trades before that. You may as well just enter with a 1-to-1, just like so, just like you're entering on a continuation, right? But here's just the secret that I wanted to talk about is obviously the draw is important. OTE without draws are gambling, but the secret is the real secret with OTE is that it really is a high win rate and high RR strategy, because if you can be patient and wait for price to finally come down on that draw and not use you as an inducement, that's good. Because a lot of the time, what price will do is it will tap a PD ray. Yes, our draw is still here, but price will tap a PD ray here, okay? And in that scenario, before price wants to go higher, it's going to want to use the previous range as inducement. Now, this is more source, right? And in that case, you'd be using the entire range, all right? And in these scenarios, the 6-2 tends to play a lot more, especially if the 705, let me remove this, especially if the 705 or the 7-9 is closer to that liquidity. The 7-9 shouldn't play because it's so close to this liquidity. If we come down, it may as well just play from there, right? The 6-2 usually is right below that inducement, meaning we have the 6-2 to the 705 to argue to trade against, which is going to be discretionalized due to the PD raise within that previous range, okay? It's a little bit of sauce, a little bit confusing. However, I really numbed down the secret of OTE, and that really is, right now, I'm explaining it. The secret of OTE is that if you can be patient and just continue to take trades towards the draw, your RR and your win rate will be high. That's the one time I can positively explain that in a very, very simple scenario way. All right. Make sure that your range is created from a PD array. Make sure your range is heading towards a draw, and make sure that everything inside of the range you're taking is aligned with the OTE. Really simple, really clean video. All right. I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing day.